Hi, my name is Valerie, and I have idiopathic hypersomnia. I am 19 years old, and I am a sophomore at college right now, studying psychology with a minor in theater.
My name is Samantha. I'm 24 years old, and I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
My name's Mary. I'm 28 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon. I am a part-time barista and full-time student working on my degree.
Hi, my name's Lloyd. I'm 28 years old and I live in Perth, Western Australia, and I've been diagnosed with idiopathic hypersomnia.
I have always been tired, overwhelmingly tired, since I was a kid. I'd come home from school, the first thing I'd do would nap for hours, wake up, eat dinner, and go back to bed.
I first started getting symptoms of hypersomnia, like struggling to wake up and sleep drunkenness, like when I was a young teenager, like 11, 12, maybe 13, 14. It's sort of an area of debate with my family.
I was diagnosed when I was 18, about a month after I graduated high school, but I believe that I've been having symptoms since I was about 16.
I think I've had symptoms for as long as I can remember. When I was a kid, I hated towel drying off after a shower, so I'd get out, I'd put the towel around me, and I'd go sit in my bedroom and air dry. But every once in a while, I would fall asleep.
It really hit me like a freight train when I was 25, 26, and that's when I could no longer work, and it really pushed me down the sort of diagnostic pathway to try and find out what on earth was going wrong in my brain to make me feel so awful all the time.
My family remembers when we were all going to go to Disneyland when I was in third grade. I didn't want to go. I knew that we'd have to be awake and on foot for hours, like a whole day of being awake. And I told my parents, I can't do that. I can't be awake for a full day. I still can't.
School was all right. Elementary and high school, I got through without realizing any real problems because I was on such a strict routine. I got up at the same time every day. School was at the same time every day. I came home at the same time, went to bed at the same time. It was set in stone.
I've always been symptomatic. They became concerning in middle school.
I started to fall asleep in class, and it got really bad my senior year if I was late to my first class a lot, or missing the bus back when I took a bus. I didn't really realize that something was wrong. I thought maybe, I'm a teenager. Teenagers get sleepy.
College was when things started to change. Freshman year was difficult. My roommate ended up sitting me down and telling me that she was concerned about some of the changes she had noticed in me. It got to the point that if I went to class at all, I rolled out of bed in my sweats and shuffled to class in slippers. And halfway through the year, I just stopped going to class completely. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't wake up to my alarms. I just stayed in all the time. I stopped hanging out with friends. I stopped going out to eat. I just slept all day, every day.
And I think that took me a while to grasp. I think I just kept trying to do what others expected me to do, and if I couldn't accomplish that, I was very unforgiving with myself. And of course, I have very high expectations for myself as well, especially with academics, and all the different extracurriculars I feel I should be doing.
The hardest part, of course, is being stuck in your little sleepy prison. I'm a bright young woman, but my cognitive skills are diminished because I'm sleepy. I'm sluggishly brained all the time. I've dropped out of school 3 times due to this before diagnosis. And I have a couple of associate's degrees. I've been trying to chip away this bachelor's degree for a long time. I'm very determined. I work shorter shifts. I work 5-hour shifts at the coffee shop, which is my whole day, which is daunting. And then I try to nap before I go out. I evaluate my symptoms before I do go out. Like, am I going to be going out? Am I going to be miserable because I'm so tired?
And I hopped from job to job. I couldn't stay in one place for more than 4 or 5 months at a time. And I was finally doing an assignment with a temp agency, working concessions for Cirque du Soleil. And I had to take a break because I had a migraine. And not 5 minutes after I sat down, I was out like a light. And I had no idea. I woke up an hour later with 2 people shaking me and another calling 911. Once they figured out that I was fine, they fired me on the spot. They said they didn't want somebody who was going to be lazy and sleep on the job. And that was the wake-up call for me.
And so I was taken to the doctor then, and I was diagnosed with fatigue, which I'll find out later is different than sleepiness. Believing I had fatigue, my doctor put me on antidepressants, thinking that was the cause of the fatigue, because that's normally the cause of fatigue. So for 12, 13 years, finally earlier this year, I had a doctor who was like, I don't think your fatigue is normal. It's not typical of fatigue. I think you are excessively tired.
Between onset and diagnosis, that's like over a decade. That's sort of, well over 10 years.
21 years. It's been 21 years between me noticing symptoms and me getting diagnosed. In 2011, I visited a sleep doctor and did a sleep study and a multiple latency test, and they finally diagnosed me with IH.
And I had that fun little sleep test thing where they put electrodes all over you and it's sticky and not very fun. But after that, I was diagnosed with idiopathic hypersomnia. I got diagnosed and I was excited until I found out that idiopathic hypersomnia is basically not an actual diagnosis because it literally means you sleep a lot and we don't know why.
I certainly, when I'm in a deep, dark place, trying to wrap my mind around this, I wouldn't wish that version of Lloyd on anyone.
It was overwhelming. I cried a lot that day. I didn't know how it was going to affect my life. I didn't know what to expect or how to fix it. There's no cure. All you can really do is manage the symptoms. How do you live with something like that?
The best way I can describe symptoms is if you've ever had to go to the bathroom really bad, and maybe you're stuck in a car or you're stuck in a certain situation where you can't immediately get to the bathroom, but you have to go. And slowly, it kind of hurts, you really have to go. There's that sense of urgency and it's consuming you. And even though you look like you're involved in whatever conversation's going on, you're actually not, because all you can think about is, oh my God, I have to go right now. Oh my God. So it's like that, but with tiredness all the time with no relief from it. You're just constantly consumed by the urgency to sleep.
My family and friends, it's been a journey for me, and it's been a journey for them too. I mean, I think for a long time, none of us really had any idea what this meant.
My mom has never really understood things unless it's staring her in the face. If it's something that she has to deal with on a personal level regularly, then she can deal with something. And at first it was hard for her to understand what was going on. She thought I was sleeping too much, thought I was sleeping too little, thought I just needed to go to bed earlier.
There were a couple times when my parents would say, or my friends would say, you just have to tell yourself to wake up. You can't just go back to sleep. And trying to explain to them that was impossible was difficult for them to wrap their heads around. And I understand that. Because again, they're not going through it.
Family wasn't surprised at all. I told them what it was. Of course, they'd never heard of it. No one has. And so I sent them some information, a couple links, and all of them were blown away. They're like, this is exactly how you are all the time, Mary.
And it's been a real emotional roller coaster for me personally, and I think that's been really tough for my family and friends.
All my friends had said, hey, you're just a teenager, or you don't sleep enough, or you sleep too much, or you don't drink enough caffeine, or you drink too much caffeine.
A lot of, your diagnosis is that you're extra sleepy? Well, I have a toddler and I'm going back to school.
I had roommate problems because my roommate, I found, was talking behind my back about what an awful person I was, which I'm guessing spawned from the fact that my alarms that I need in the morning were waking her up, because I have so many, because waking up is the hardest part of my day.
The lack of compassion or sympathy. It's such a strange disease, and people think it's made up. And why would I pick, like, the lamest disorder possible? I would rather pick something people know and is well established. This is awful. And so trying to get any kind of compassion or understanding from people has been a struggle. The it must be nice mentality. It must be nice to sleep that much. It just breaks my heart.
And I, like, at times got really cheesed off with people who sort of, like, patted me on the back and said, "Don't worry, you'll be well soon," now they know what it is. It's like, this is an incurable neurological disease. Like, it doesn't just, like, get better.
My dad, though, Dad has always been kind of supportive. He was diagnosed with sleep apnea a few years ago and has been using a CPAP machine and knows what it's like to get up in the middle of the night, to not be able to go back to sleep, to not feel rested when you do wake up.
My friends have been the most amazing support system ever. They help me wake up in the morning, they check in on me, they, don't ask stupid questions about, why I'm always taking medicine. But they also will ask questions, respectful questions, and I like when people ask questions because it gives me an opportunity to educate them.
There is struggle, even if you can't see it. And they love you for it anyway.
And I'm still waiting for insurance to approve my medications. I'm still very tired.
I'm currently not taking any medication. In 2011, when I was diagnosed, my doctor wanted to prescribe something. I don't remember what it was because my insurance refused to cover it.
And I got to try flumazenil, which is really great. It's basically the only thing, other than clarithromycin, which I forgot to mention, that has helped me because, like Dr. Rai says, instead of trying to press on the gas pedal while the brake gets down, you're actually releasing the brake. And so it works with the substance that's a problem in my cerebrospinal fluid and actually helps fix the issue at the source.
On the medication, my life's a lot better. I'm able to regulate my sleep-wake time so much better, so I can sort of reliably be awake by 8 or 9 in the morning most days. And most days when I'm medicated, I can get by without a nap and go to sleep at sort of a normal time, like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So I'm still sleeping a little bit longer than average, but I can make life work in the time in between. But you just got to make it work. Like, that's what I do. I do my best to make it work, and fingers crossed, I feel like I'm doing a reasonable job of it. And I'm hoping, like, with better access to better medication or working out how to make the medication I'm on work even better for me, I'm going to get closer and closer to being able to live like a more normal and productive life.
My symptoms have gotten a lot worse lately, so I finally scheduled an appointment with a new doctor, and I have new insurance, so hopefully that'll go a bit better.
I'm basically like a living zombie. Like, waking me up is incredibly, incredibly difficult. I have to set so many alarms, it's not even funny. And even then, I can't reliably wake up before lunchtime. Like, often it's 2, 3, or 4 p.m. in the evening before I can get out of bed.
My symptoms are I'm always overwhelmingly sleepy, and sometimes there's it fluctuates to where it's like emergency sleepy.
Also, in general, I feel like my cognition has gone down. Like, my memory sucks. I need lists to get through life.
Some days I'm just cranky anyway. Some days I just fall asleep and he just needs to let me sleep.
And getting out of bed is like a process in and of itself. Like, often between when I'm like awake, like as in not falling back to sleep, and when I can actually get the energy to drag myself out of bed, that can be half an hour. Unmedicated, life's just impossible.
It's impacted my career in that I still haven't established a career. I've been doing food service for 12 years.
Career has been tricky. The possibility that I would be judged and discriminated against for me having IH, for me not being able to control this. And I've been terrified. Absolutely terrified of getting a job that I love and not being able to do it, or to lose it from my age. I don't know if or when it'll come, but it's always there, hanging over my head.
One of the biggest impacts for me with idiopathic hypersomnia is not being able to drive anymore. And even though I'm on medication, the medication's working, I just really don't trust myself behind a vehicle anymore. I had a really nasty accident when I was in Thailand on a motorbike, which just made me realize just how quickly, like a small lapse of judgment can just end in complete disaster.
Believe it or not, having a social life is my biggest struggle.
I haven't had the luxury of cultivating a lot of close friends in my life. It's hard to do when you're too tired to make plans because you never know how you're going to feel from 1 hour to the next.
It's hard to talk to them, to spend time with them, and to hang out with the ones that are nearby because I don't have the energy. I get home from work after dealing with people for 8 hours, and all I want to do is sleep. Eat dinner and sleep. Because I can't physically be around people because I'm so exhausted. I can't make my face into normal, happy expressions because I'm too tired to smile. I'm too tired to laugh.
I don't have kids. I can't even think about having kids. It's too exhausting. I don't know how people do it. I couldn't have a wedding. I couldn't get married. There's all this big stuff I can't even fathom doing. I'm too tired. If I can shower 4 times a week, that's like the most I can do.
It's just layer after layer after layer of exhaustion and no energy and just wanting to crawl up in a ball, crawl in a hole, and pretend you don't exist. I think that's the biggest struggle that I face.
I'll have glimpses, I guess, of when my mental state, my clarity is there. And that's how I'm able to gauge how I'm not, like, at peak performance.
Now that my symptoms are more under control, I feel like I need to be an advocate for people who aren't in such a great place as I am. And it just is so rewarding and wonderful. Instead of, what haven't I accomplished? What have I accomplished? And just celebrate the productive things I've done. I think that if you reframe your mind in such a way and realize that you are trying hard, because I am trying really hard, that just really helps, and it helps boost my self-esteem, and it helps make the symptoms easier. If I'm in a bad mood, I just want to sleep. And I want to sleep when I'm happy too, but more so when I'm upset. And so I want to do everything I can to make myself happy. I feel like you just have to find what's for you, because you know your body better than anyone else will, and no doctor, I can't even tell you what you should be doing, because you're the best person to judge that.